Fans of exploding thingies, rejoice! For a new game full of exploding thingies is now available for download on Xbox Live Arcade.
That was awesome.
Breach is another first-person shooter game to add to the mountains which already exist on the 360. However, the number of good shooters available on Microsoft's download service is pretty low. So, can Breach live up to the standards set by other DLG games such as Blacklight Tango Down and Battlefield 1943? There's only one way to find out. Charge! Oh, damn it! Every game needs to have a unique hook to it, otherwise there would be nothing special for the publishers to shout about while they're trying to promote it. Breach's biggest selling point is the fact that it has a destructible environment, but whereas in Battlefield you could only blow up the walls of buildings, in Breach you can destroy floors, ceilings, and even shoot individual bricks out of the walls in an effort to create some improvised cover. The pre-release gameplay footage did nothing but make this look amazing. In reality though, it's not as awesome as it's made out to be, but more on that later. Developed by Atomic Games, the people behind the canned controversy fest 6 Days in Fallujah, Breach is a modern warfare-style, online-only shooter which manages to place a tick in all the relevant FPS boxes. It's got XP, it's got levelling, it's got 5 different classes, and it even has character customization. Basically, it's everything a fan of the genre could want, and it's ready for download whenever you feel like it for a very reasonable price. The online action puts you in the dusty boots of a random US or Russian soldier in some random country somewhere or other, and it features a whole host of exciting game modes to try out over 5 different levels. Well, 4 different levels really. One map is repeated, so it's set during the day and also at night. At first I thought the game had a dynamic weather system and each map changed its time of day randomly when you started the match. That would have been amazing! But I was wrong, so it isn't. The levels are nice and big with lots of open areas for snipers to take advantage of while keeping plenty of cover around for runners and gunners to use as they advance on their targets. Graphically, they're pretty generic though, with locations cut and pasted from other games, but generally they are pretty impressive for a DLG game and they work really well with the action and their design keeps the game flowing and busy at all times. Which brings me nicely back to the environmental destruction. What's wrong with it? Well, nothing really, in the sense that it works very well, and it's great fun shooting down the support struts of bridges while your enemies run across, or taking out beams which hold up balconies so roofs crash down on the opposition's heads. Plus, the ability to take out individual bricks from walls is simply genius. It's a great idea, it's just executed badly. You see, the trouble is, there doesn't seem to be too many practical opportunities to actually do all this destruction. Most of the action takes place in the open due to the buildings being so far apart, and you will quickly realise that a lot of the destructible scenery only appears in certain patches around the level, distinguishable by slightly different textures on the wall, basically just acting as a door that you need to explode open rather than just by turning a good old doorknob. You see, that's why Battlefield works so well, because the destruction is random and affects everything. In Breach, because only certain places in the levels are destructible, players more often than not will actually have to go out of their way to cause destruction, and no one's going to want to do that when they can just run around shooting at people. The way the levels are designed mean you can use the destruction to your advantage, creating choke points and shortcuts, or forcing enemy soldiers to take different routes to their objectives. And these are all great ideas in theory, but without a large, well-oiled clan to work with, these armed forces style tactics are quickly forgotten about in favour of just seeing who can run around like a headless chicken, killing the most peoples the most quickest, innit? But forgetting about the destruction for a while, how does it play as a shooter? Well, it actually plays really well, and during my time with it I had many an exciting battle which left my heart racing. Jumping into a lobby with a big bunch of your mates is always going to be a much more rewarding experience here, but even playing on my Todd with a bunch of strangers was good fun. There is also a great cover system which lets you easily hide behind objects, then peer over and unload your weapon at the advancing forces. It works nicely and it's a welcome addition to the game. The variety of play modes include breach-style takes on capture the flag and domination matches, and of course the inevitable team deathmatch. There is also a one kill and you're out mode called Sole Survivor, which is a nice distraction to the normal mode, but gets boring fast if you're always the first one to catch a bullet, because then you are left for 5 minutes staring at an almost static screen. And then there is Convoy mode, a nice, fresh, exciting FPS game mode which proves that there are still some good ideas left in the genre. In Convoy, the two teams take it in turns to escort or destroy a pair of Humvees as they slowly make their way across the map. Every so often a barricade gets in the way which the escorting team must blow up using a slab of C4 which can be found located on the back of the vehicles, so teamwork and cover fire is vital for success. The opposing team must do everything in their power to damage the convoy and prevent them from reaching their goal in the allotted time, after which the team swaps sides and the carnage begins again. The experience is tense, exhilarating, and because your objectives are always on the move, you have to think on your feet. It's definitely the best mode out of the lot, and an addition which lifts the game above mediocre in terms of gameplay. The character customization and classes are all by the book, with the generic assault rifle guy, shotgun guy, sniper guy, and heavy machine gun guy, all making an appearance, with a fifth recon guy class unlockable once you reach a certain level. The weapons can all be upgraded by spending XP, and you can also purchase perks and special weapons, but to be fair, it's all a bit ho-hum and offers nothing we haven't seen a million times before. The weapons handle pretty well, although every so often the whole game can get affected by a weird lag which can make hitting your targets seem more like luck rather than skill. Another issue with lag appears when you shoot people. Occasionally there is a weird pause when you get a kill and receive XP. Almost like the game is calculating how much to give you. That was worth 5 XP, I reckons. The rest of the action carries on for everyone else though, so if there are a couple of targets in your field of view when you make your first kill, by the time the game gets its act together, chances are they will either have shot you in the face or legged it off into a building somewhere. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen enough to make it noticeable. And don't get me started on the grenades, they are really badly implemented. The throw seems all wrong and you can't cook them, so as soon as you pull the trigger they fly wonkily out of your hand, making a subtle lob through a top floor window pretty much impossible. As a whole, Breach is your basic COD clone which is lacking in imagination. Look, even the achievements are uninspiring. Get 100 kills playing the rifleman class, get 100 kills playing the gunner class, get 100 kills playing the sniper class. The scenery destruction, though well done, is slightly pointless, and when your main selling point is nothing more than a nice idea, that's a little bit worrying. Thankfully though, the game is fun. Yes, it's glitchy, yes, it's a bit laggy, but for the £10 price tag, the gameplay is great, and all shooter fans will find something here to keep them occupied, even if they only end up playing the convoy mode.